a lot of my life has been like super invested in the now with people.
Ecopsychology is something you brought to my attention pretty recently.
Ecopsychology uses a culmination of Western philosophies with Eastern philosophies, but it's also combined with a Native American and Native South American way of looking at the wholeness of the self. So it combines like all these different cultures to bring you this one man's view of the psyche, Bill Plotkin. You use it to know them better so that you can connect with them more, and you can talk to them in a way where you both are digesting information in a healthy manner. Well, I learned about ecopsychology from my mentor, John Lynch. Yeah, I think the only label you could put on me is human at this point. I'm a backpacker, right? I do a lot of that. I do a lot of highlining, a lot of primitive camping. I moved away from climbing for the most part, but I also do a lot of traveling, a lot of cooking, a lot of art, a lot of crafts. Crafts has been big in my life, carving recently. Yeah, so that, and then like social work, just like talking to people and getting them outside of themselves and more into like a community basis rather than, you know, this sense of in our society that you're like completely your own identity. Like that identity has to be incorporated into other people.
What impact has it had? What does it change about your life?
So ecopsychology is a way to see where people's actions come out through traumas and through things that have happened in their life that have formed their fragmented psyche. So when you're sitting in a social setting and somebody gets really defensive, which is something that I do, yeah. Or if somebody, you know, is all of a sudden really like vehemently passionate about some mild social issue that shouldn't be affecting them, right? Yeah. Like all of a sudden, like instead of just being like, wow, that guy's an asshole. Why is he acting like that? Instead you think like, what led them to that point in their life? Like what caused them to act out in this way rather than a different way? Like why is somebody angry rather than being sad, right? What stimuli causes it, but then trace that causal pattern back to their childhood where they could have suffered some sort of trauma, you know, minor or major. It doesn't need to be like, oh my gosh, you're so traumatic. It's more about like the relativity of trauma and how the psyche gets affected through different things. There we go into like the relativity of trauma. And that trauma led to a certain perception of the world within me. And everyone has different traumas. Everyone goes through different things. I think the most common one in ecopsychology is realizing that your parents won't provide everything for you. And at that point, your psyche develops in a different way than it used to. And it's usually in the ego phase from like 2 to 5. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Dang.
So, with ecopsychology, to answer your original question, you use it to know people better. You don't use it to change them. If you use it to change them, you're using it wrong, and it's probably not going to work well. You use it to know them better so that you can connect with them more, and you can talk to them in a way where you both are digesting information in a healthy manner.
Okay.
And that's how it's helped me.
Cool. That's amazing. Do you foresee it becoming... Actually, is this a household name?
No.
It's not.
No, it's like 20 years young.
Okay.
It was developed by this guy, Bill Plotkin, and only a couple companies use it. There's only like a handful of universities and colleges that offer it as a degree path. I have had chronic depression like a majority of my life.
Okay.
And you know, like once I started focusing on diet and like physical things that are happening within me, it all changed.
Wow.
And like dude, there's like so much that could be derived from just knowing your body more.
What are they?
Well,
List them.
the way we sleep, right? Like if you're having these like crazy fucked up dreams that are just all over the place, terrifying you, there's a reason for that. Like you don't understand your body well enough if you keep having those dreams, you know, or like if you wake up with a back cramp, or you like, and that happens to me all the time still. Like I still have more to know about my body. So practical to most 22-year-olds.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but like other things too. Like if you have a job where you have to sit down every day, like what is that doing to your body, right? How does your body interact with gravity in different positions? How is your heart working, right? What does your heart actually physically do, right? It pumps, and then it pushes blood, and then it sucks blood. Pushes blood, sucks blood. And nobody really knows anatomy. Like, I was with this girl the other night, and I said scapula, and she didn't know what it was. And most people, I guess, don't know what a scapula is. And it just seems like second nature to know what that is, you know. And the common name is,
what's a scapula, man? Fill me in.
It's a shoulder blade.
It is a shoulder blade. See, I've heard that before.
Yeah, you've heard a shoulder blade.
But I don't even know. Like, I can name the states better than I can name the bones in my body.
Yeah.
That says a lot about how we're in our heads and we live from thoughts as opposed to living from our bodies. Living from kind of like reality.
Yeah, I think our society has this heavy emphasis on individuality, right? Like, you're unique. You should get a gold star for being you. You know, like we went from this like tribal, like survive for the community type of living thousands of years ago, and now we're like, everyone's a snowflake, totally unique from everyone else. And you know, that kind of separates you. You like constantly focused on how you're perceived, because you think everyone's looking at you at this like as like this individual person. And so you're focused on what people think about that individual, i.e. you. You know, and so you're less focused on you as like a being, and you're more focused on how you're perceived. And it's like I mean, I've seen that negative flow in myself, at least.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's like it's like that in your 20s, you're always focused on how other people see you. In your 40s, you're always focused on not giving a shit how people see you. And then when you're 60, you realize nobody was even seeing you at all. They just see another person on the street. And so it doesn't matter how people perceive you. You got to know yourself. And most people don't try to know themselves. They try to know how they can fit in as an individual in a society of individuals.
So how does one get to know their self?
Meditation.
Do I have to actually like sit down and be quiet?
No. Meditation can be any sort of thing. Like, I apply it to just like a focus on a task. So like that would be like maybe Zen meditation. I don't really know.
Yeah, an active meditation of some sort.
Yeah, like slacklining could be a meditation, you know.
Yeah.
And it is for me. It's a huge meditation.
Writing can be a meditation.
Yeah. I'd say a meditation is any separation from a modge podge of thoughts happening all at once.
Single pointed focus in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
Totally. I use meditation actively. I use it in walking. I use it in biking.
Nice.
I use it in sometimes editing videos. It's a form of a meditation. My mind is active in what it's doing, but I'm focused on one thing, and I keep going back to the video. You know, it's like I'm putting that all into something without distraction from the outside. So it's a form of a single pointed focus.
Right.
And is it as potent in the results of meditation as like sitting down and being quiet and listening to the trees? No, but it's different, because it's like if I'm editing a video for 2 hours and I sit and I focus on it for 2 hours and I don't go out, I stay in, then I come out 2 hours later feeling focused. You know, and if I do this, I can do that 15-20 seconds, and then I'll be like, okay, so it's different, but still has a similar quality. But anyway, you slackline for how long?
Like 4 years now.
4 years now slacklining.
Something like that, yeah.
Can we see what you do? You have a really short line rigged right now.
Yeah.
It's like a super beginner line, but it's also pretty bouncy. It's a little bit difficult in that way.
Yeah, it's tight. It's tight and short. So the elasticity is definitely, you know, that stretch coefficient is over a shorter distance. So the total stretch distance is obviously shorter. I could definitely show you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's my meditation.
Totally. Amazing.
So, I guess I won't even bother describing what a slackline is, but it's basically, you know, tightrope that's stretchier. And so you can see it bounces a lot, but this short of a line doesn't bounce as much. And you just allow your body to flow on it. You don't have to be doing this like crazy trick or anything. Just have fun.
Now, I know that it's something that slackliners acknowledge in regards to not harming trees when you slackline, and I know you're very conscientious.
Right.
So how do you feel about that?
So I've read a couple studies done by the International Slackline Association, and they're like the leading authority, but in reality this community is like group based, and like people kind of become their own authority through experience. But if you don't leave your lineup for more than like an hour or two, it's not going to harm the trees.
Even if you're walking on it?
Yeah, like this is called a basket hitch, that green webbing over here.
Okay.
So you can see how when I bounce on it, it moves up and down.
Yeah.
That can be bad for the tree for sure.
Okay.
So on a line like this, I wouldn't spend a whole lot of energy bouncing. I would just, you know, be flowy and playful with it. But if you're gonna leave a lineup for more than a few hours, it's good to like put a shirt around that webbing so it doesn't rub on the tree as bad.
Cool.
And I honestly, like, we underestimate how strong trees are. Like, they've evolved over millions of years in order to protect against, you know, insects and different bacterial diseases and fungal diseases. Like, they're really strong.
Cool.
I think the ISA has a rule that you should do like 30 inches or more for the diameter of your tree. Something it taught me recently was that you can't be brave without being afraid. And it didn't make sense to me until I got back into highlining after like a month and a half hiatus.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I'm like, like super afraid right now. And I had to constantly like keep thinking like just do it, man. Like, you've done this before, it's gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine. And so like I had to double check everything on the line. Like I had to double check the anchors on both sides. I had to double check my leash, my harness. And after I had double checked everything and then I had my buddy look at my harness, then I was like, okay, I can do this. And I was still super afraid getting on, but you can't be brave without being afraid. And it's pushing past your fear that shows that you have courage within yourself to do something. And usually that something is something you're passionate about, you know, and that's what we see in society, is that people are really afraid to go after their dreams. You know, like people don't want to push themselves to become that artist who's going to make $10,000 a year, like, you know, plus whatever, maybe not even that off their art. They probably aren't going to make anything off their art for a few years. But like if they push through that fear with courage, eventually they're going to be at a point where they're going to be doing that as their life, like income, you know, or whatever you want to, whatever.
Do you believe in money?
Yeah, I mean, it exists. Money's a thing.
Great answer. Are you familiar with the idea of like a trading culture?
Yeah, like a barter system?
Yeah, well, money is a barter system.
Okay, fair enough.
A culture where value, there's a name, a name for it, someone brought it to my attention and I'm forgetting what it is, but basically where I have something of value for everyone and other people have things of value for me. And so the individual shares, really a sharing system as opposed to bartering. Do you have any thoughts on that, or money, and like is money serving us? Is it just that our mindset is poor and so everyone's poor, or is it around money, like we just don't know how to make it, or is there maybe a different, what do you think about you know what I mean? Like money is an access point. Why don't we all have
I think
the same?
Relatively a select amount of people are trying to provide everything for everyone else, and they need everyone else to like do the menial work of that
So you're talking about big corporations. They provide all of our needs, our necessities.
Yeah.
It's a
and the big issue is like after World War I and World War II, like there was a lot of experimentation done with marketing, and nowadays you can see like people marketing a product in such a way where it's not like they're not describing why you'd need it. They're describing, you know, like what, I don't even know how to describe that manipulation.
You get.
They just
creating ecstasy and love.
It's crazy, dude. Marketing has gotten to a point where it's cyclical, you know, like it's definitely a way to get you to buy stuff that you don't necessarily need.
Yeah. And why do you think that we are trying to do that? Why are people like, all right, I'm going to build a business where I sell things that people don't need? Why do we do that?
Well, because everyone's stuck on this idea that like money is the end all to survival right now. Like you have to have money to survive.
Is there a way to, let's say that there weren't governments at war, there wasn't a world government or country's governments and all that stuff.
Okay.
And we just happen to be a culture of humans using money as a barter system. And you are taking it into your own hands. Let's say it's just 100 people. How do you get people off of money and into the natural abundance of things?
Have you heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
I have, yes.
Okay, so that would need to be completely fulfilled. Like everyone, no, like for that system to work, like to get people involved in like a trade share system, like you need to make sure that there's people sharing enough food for everyone. You know, you need to make sure that people's time is like taken up with things they enjoy. Like you can't force people to do something they don't enjoy.
It has to meet all of those needs, is what you're saying.
And that's one of the big issues with communism and how it's been tried this past century. You know, we've seen it tried where like scientists have to go farm, and they don't like farming, so they're not going to do very good at it. They're not going to do well. And like in Russia, well, we don't need to go into the USSR because that was even worse. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially like people's needs need to be met through the share system. And if they're not, nobody's going to be happy with the share system. People are going to be seeking an alternative way to get things that they want.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that there's a reason people aren't getting everything they need with our current share system, our barter system of money? Or do you think it fits all of our needs in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
I don't think people are fulfilled in their life's goals. Like I think the idea that the money trade and the way that marketing and other things have gone has made people move away from what I would call their soul's path, and in that way, like, they're really unhappy. Like they feel like they should have done something at some point in their life that would have led them somewhere else. And maybe it's subconscious. Maybe they don't consciously acknowledge that. You know, they don't realize that they've been drawn away from their actual soul path. I think that's like a big thing, is that money has distracted many people from becoming intrinsically fulfilled, right? Like, and I don't know, it's intergenerational. Like my parents told me I had to get a job that, you know, was going to make me a lot of money. And I'm like, why? You know, at the time I wasn't like, why? Internally I was like, oh fuck, like I don't know what I have to do. Like, I don't know what I should do. So she's gonna give me an aura reading, an energy reading, and she's gonna imbue like a pattern on me that's supposed to channel my energy in a healthier way. And then it's like totally like, it's one of the gifts that she has to give the world, and it's just trading. Like it's me sharing what I have with her, and she's sharing what she has with me.
Does she also accept money for the same service?
She doesn't like to. She doesn't like to accept money, but she does.
What would she rather have? Like, how can she afford to do that?
Right. She'd rather have things that she values. Like, she has other gifts that she can use to make money, like crafts and stuff. But this specifically, this energy imbuement she gives, that is something that's like kind of sacred.
Okay.
Like she doesn't
want money involved.
Yeah, you don't want negative energy involved with that. You don't want something that has created evil in the world.
So she doesn't need money in this situation.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
It's not about money, exactly.
Sometimes we think that it's always about money, or that money always has to be involved with things.
Okay. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Amazing.
I mean, you see that through simple like acts of kindness, you know, where somebody just like goes out of their way to do something for somebody, and it's not about money. It's not. And I think that's cool.
That is really cool. Yeah. This isn't about money.
It's not about money. This is about talking with people and getting like a community mindset going where people are sharing ideas and talking openly. Yeah. I think that's great.
It really is. It's
so much more powerful than any money could ever be.
Exactly, because we're stronger together, and money is a middleman. Little bit more division.
Stronger together.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being on here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's amazing, man. So, how can they follow you online? Do you want them to?
They can follow me if they want to. Cool. I have an Instagram. It's called wilder.wilderness.
Okay.
I just post like highline things going on in my life, essentially. So
Sweet.
If you want to follow me, really follow this guy. He's getting the message out through other people in the community. I think that's more important.
Well, this is really a highlight on the community, and you're a part of it. So his Instagram is in the description below, and then if it ever happens to change, I'll update it in the description. So if it doesn't work what he said, check the box just in case. Just for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely like this video if you got anything out of it. Comment below what you got out of it, or anything you have for Calvin, because you know.
Yeah, questions are welcome.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Totally. And subscribe to Conscious Community. Tap the bell to stay notified. You'll get a notification for every video to keep up on community members and just everything that we talk about. Much love, y'all. Peace.